It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission really is to empower. Our mission really is to inspire. And our mission, well, at the end of the day, is to provide you, that's right, you the one there, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that vision you have deep inside of you for all those folks you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Mona Lisa McCorkle. Did I get that right?
McCorkle.
McCorkle. Thank you, sir. Help me out. McCorkle. I went to DC public schools, by the way, but I still practice that. McCorkle. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thanks for being here on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. And shout out to Sonia who connected us together. How are you doing?
I am doing most excellent. How are you this evening?
Well, I'm doing most excellent now that you're here. Now, I got a question because the folks are looking at what the topic of discussion is. And they're saying purposeful living, right? When doing purposeful living, when you do what you know you were called to do, in so many words, I'm paraphrasing it, but they got it right there in front of them. Purposeful living. What is that these days? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but I want you to, here's the question. What are the challenges that are facing people today living a life on purpose when it seems like it makes sense? Like, what's the challenge they have?
I think one of the greatest challenges today is that there are so many distractions. People are being pulled in so many different directions. It could be work, it could be family, it could be just, whatever, general things. But people are being pulled in so many directions. And there might be a point in life, say when we start out, we think we know the path. Some people do, but oftentimes they don't know the path. And I think why I talk a lot about this these days is I've had people approach me who say, I'm maybe in my 50s or 60s, and I really don't know what my purpose is. I know what I've been doing, but I don't know what my purpose is. And so that kind of leads us into further conversation. Just by nature of who I am, I am an assessor, I am a teacher, I am an instructor, I'm many things. And so I begin to ask a lot of questions. And what we find oftentimes, many times, and I will gladly and proudly say that this month I will be celebrating my 60th birthday. So I've experienced a lot.
Happy birthday to you. Congratulations to you. Happy birthday. You're just getting started. Life is just getting started.
Yes. And that's what I'm excited about, because when people come and they want to talk about this thing, I am an apostle. Whatever I do, whatever I practice, it is from a biblical perspective. And Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord." And even that's how I live my life. But even when people come and ask the question about purpose, we go all the way back, because purpose can be traced. Purpose can be traced when we begin to look at, just a part of our upbringing, our environment, so many things. And I think science and theory and so many things teach us that, negative, more so the negative things, it's picked up from environmental and all of these discussions. However, when we look at our lives and how we walk them out, I think that has been a strategy that we were not even aware of. And so we talk about purpose. Sometimes we can go along life and we're working and we're getting to a place where we feel like, we're enjoying, but then we get to another place in our lives where there's still something missing. I just can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something missing. And so then the question is then, what really, has this been my purpose? I've talked to people who actually, they've been in a career for maybe 20, 30 years. They've been doing some things and they thought that was purpose until they retired. And they said, I've enjoyed that, but there's something else. And we find that what they did was a part of their purpose, perhaps, but it wasn't necessarily the direct purpose. And so that's what I like to talk about, coach about, because I do believe that there's purpose for all of us. There's a purpose in each of our lives, but it is a matter of whether we are willing whether we are willing to search out that purpose and then surrender to the process and do the work.
Can I jump in? Do the work. I love that. Do the work. You can't leave us hanging, right? Because folks are wondering, Shay, can she share one, maybe two, maybe three ideas on what someone can do to take steps to find their purpose? I know it's what you do for a living. And the reason I asked that question, I'm part of the Puff Daddy generation. I have my AARP card, by the way. I'm moving
Yes,
up
I
that
do
scale in
too.
this generation now. So I'm excited. So I got remix versions on everything, right? But before I remix the question, let me make sure I stay on the question, right? But the question I have here really is, what are one, two, or three steps that someone can do that says, you know what? Right, she's right. My purpose when I was 20 is different than it is when I was 50. My purpose when the kids were in school is different now, and I'm an empty nester. So what's one or two, three things that someone can do to find their purpose? And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. I know y'all reading their bio below. We'll get to that. I know y'all trying to figure it out. I know. And I'll come back to this balance thing because I don't know. I don't know what balance even means anymore. We'll come back to that. But first question,
Okay.
what can they do to help find their purpose?
The first thing is sitting down with yourself. Again, it gets back to a place. I understand that our lives are so busy right now, and we're doing the things that either we feel like we need to be doing. Some people just are unable to say no, so they found themselves caught up in a place where they've always been at the disposal of other people, or careers chosen by other people, or just they just happened upon some things. But when we're talking about purpose specifically, one thing: sit down with yourself and be honest. And then if you don't feel like you have met your purpose or found out what your purpose is, begin to ask yourself some questions. And I'm big on writing things down. You might be a doodler or whatever, but just begin to look over your life, and then think about what is that thing or those things that you've done that if there was nothing else going on in the world around you, there was nothing else you could do or wanted to do. This is the one thing that you could do forever that would sustain you. Money being no object, this is the one thing that would hold you. And that would be a place to start. And then when you kind of take a look at some of the other things that you've experienced in your life, because when we hone in on purpose, we find that maybe an experience that we had as a child, then maybe another experience that we had while we were in college, another experience that we might have had maybe after we got married, we can honestly begin to see how, wait a minute, I did this as a child, but I had forgotten about it. And then you see that when you went to college and you started doing something else, maybe you veered away from it, you took a job, but somehow in your life, in a roundabout way, it appears that there's always been something on the inside of you that's pulled you back to that one thing. So what is that one thing? What are those things that you've gravitated to? And so think about that. Don't dismiss it, because there are oftentimes things that people say, oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's not right. Because they expect us to conform to their expectations or norms. But again, you have to sit down and be honest with yourself and see what are those similarities and patterns and things that you've done and what you really love doing.
We're talking to the one and only Mona Lisa. She's on the other side here. She's talking about purposeful living. And she's breaking it down on what you can do to start the process of determining maybe what your purpose is. I'm going to encourage you to have a deeper conversation. For some of you, that makes sense, to go to someone like Mona Lisa. And I'm going to ask her for her contact information shortly, that you can connect with. They can help you do that, right? You also mentioned a lot, and folks that are reading you and following you and looking for you online now, about a balanced life. Now, that sounds like an oxymoron, right? Because our audience, our community, these are dualpreneurs, by the way. About 70% of them, they work a full-time job. They take care of the husband. They take care of the wife. They take care of the kids. Then they go to the office, take care of things at the office. Then they're also in their community, might be in their church. And they're involved in a lot of stuff, right? And they're like, whoa. She's talking about be purposeful living, which they might feel bad because they're trying to focus on themselves. And now you want me to have a balanced life? Give us your definition if you can, if you don't mind, Mona Lisa. What is a balanced life? And then how is that even possible?
Okay, one of the things that we will find that when we begin to live a purposeful life, a life on purpose according to our God ordained purpose, then balance is much easier to come by. It's much easier to live out the balance. And the thing is, I will just use myself. I'm always very transparent when I'm talking to people or whatever I say. But I am at a place that I am an apostle. We've just relaunched a ministry after the pandemic. So we're growing, we're building, we're doing that. That's priority. But guess what? I have a husband that I really do like. He's important to me. And my first ministry is in my home. Therefore, I'm going to make sure that no matter whatever else is going on outside and no matter what other pots my hands are in, guess what? Home is going to be first. But also I work real estate. I'm a North Carolina realtor and broker, and I do that full time. In addition to my business, my entrepreneurship, I am the CEO and owner of School of Thought, a training and consulting firm. I love life. I'm on the board of Truist Bank, their community advisory board. I am on a board for one of the community organizations here in the county in which I live. And so, yes, people often say, you're really busy. But guess what? I am not accepting any assignments or invitation that are not directly related with my purpose. And that's how we can maintain balance.
I'm watching saying, Mona Lisa got it all together. Her life just falls in this magical path, right? She's on purpose and she's here. And so they might be wondering, and I'm going to ask her if she'll be transparent. Man, maybe she's had no problems in her life. But, I'm always curious on what the backstory is, right? That led her to where she is now. Was there a time in your life where there was a challenge, there was a setback, maybe a bad decision that you feel comfortable sharing, obviously. And as a result, there was a setback. You had to bounce back from it. And here are some principles that you were able to rely on to help you. And you watching at home, these are lessons that she's learned on her journey that I'm asking her to please share with us. Because and maybe she might say, Shay, my life's perfect. I doubt that. But turn it over to you. Talk to us about a time that there was a challenge for you and how did you bounce back?
Wow, I don't look like what I've been through. I promise you that. I
You
was
look
born
good,
with
though. You look
challenges.
good.
I thank you. I thank you. The blessing of the Lord. But one of the things, honestly, I was born in a time where there was, there were a lot of challenges. Many things, I am the oldest girl of four girls in a family. My sisters are my dearest and best friends, but even in childhood and growing up, we weren't wealthy by any means. There was some struggle, but we came from a family where love abounded. And so, with that, though, we experience many things, through childhood. When you talk about challenges, when you talk about divorce, when you talk about sometimes feeling like through situations, I really felt like I was losing my mind. And so, I don't show up as just some pretty face standing on a pedestal saying, oh, I have arrived and it's always been perfect. Oh, no, 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 no. That's the farthest thing from the truth. However, as I have progressed through life, and I'm grateful for wisdom that comes in older age. And so I'm grateful for all of the experiences and things that I've walked out in life. I have no regrets. I'm one of those people who does not believe in regrets. Whatever I've experienced, whatever challenge, guess what? It was a learning experience. And that's how I choose to live my life, because there must be something that we learn from a challenge or a mistake or a bad situation that and which will not allow us to go back through that again, and we can keep moving forward. But when you talked about a setback, one of the things that I thought about was my move to North Carolina. I grew up in a little town, Eden, North Carolina. I moved away and got married the first time right before my 20th birthday. And I moved to Richmond, Virginia. So for 30 plus years, I've lived outside of Richmond, Chesterfield County, Virginia. That was my life. My network, my first church, so many things. That's where my adult life was lived. But then in 2016, I moved to North Carolina. Upon moving here, I knew that I was to establish a church and I was getting remarried. So I was excited about that. But upon moving here, with the position that I had working with the Commonwealth of Virginia, I was in a supervisory management position and they didn't want me to leave. And I was given the opportunity of even moving to this state, but I could have accepted a position that was at a satellite location and keep my same salary. I also was interviewed for another job here locally, that I was a top contender for, senior training consultant or something. And let me tell you what happened with that. God said no to both of them, just as clear as day. He said no. And so when they, at my previous job, let me know that they had approved for my transfer, my whatever the case may be, and I had, my answer was God said no. And they understood. But then for the other one, I couldn't even go to the second interview. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, wow, God's got something. Oh, he's got something big for me here. But when God allowed me to sit here for about a year and a half, no money, no job, wonderful husband, thank God, but just here when I've been accustomed to making my money, doing my thing, and guess what? Purpose found me because I know what I'm good at. I know what I do. And it was like, you know what? School of thought, that's something I've been thinking about. I know how to train people. I know how to talk. People listen. I have wisdom now. And so that's when I started with School of Thought and just kind of putting effort into that. And that's what I love doing. Even when we talk about purpose, though, I won't go on and on. Even though my hands are in so many things, everything that I'm doing right now is a part of my purpose. Because even in real estate, with the clients that are sent to me, that's my ministry. With School of Thought, I am, I work with those who are going to be pastors who need to know how to start churches. I work with entrepreneurs. I'm one of those. And so for all of these things, it's a part of who I am. As an apostle, I'm a builder, I'm a trainer, I'm an equiper. Guess what? That is included in everything I have my hands in. And it gives me no greater joy than to wake up every day knowing that my life is purpose filled because I'm doing exactly what He called me to do in everything I have my hands in.
Wow. I would never guess that. I would never even thought that, by the way. Thanks for being transparent. Thanks for sharing your backstory and giving us not only hope, but steps that we can do so that we can live a purposeful life. Understand that it's just not magical. It's something that we have to create. And you have the blueprint. You cracked the code. You have the methodology that can help us get there. So thank you so much. We certainly really appreciate that. How can folks best connect with you?
People can actually go to my website. I'll give my School of Thought website, and that is HTTPS, of course, and it's School of Thought LLC NC.com. So you can go to the website and leave contact information, or you can follow me on Facebook or IG, School of Thought LLC. And also, with School of Thought, I am also a realtor in North Carolina. So Mona Lisa McCorkle at allentate.com, because actually, even though I'm licensed here in North Carolina, I can connect you and have you buy and sell real estate all across the country and even internationally. And so those are some ways in which you can get in touch with me. I am happy. I'm excited about a group that's coming up in August. It's the Purposeful Living Life Coach group, and it's going to be an 8-session program. 7 of the sessions are going to be virtual. The 8th session, however, I believe in partnership, collaborations, and networking. And so for that 8th session, it's going to be an in-person gathering, during which time is going to be like a mini networking session, graduation, and just a time for the people in that cohort to just come together and just to share, to get to know each other. But also as a part of that, I am going to be introducing something that a dear brother has developed, Dr. Derrick Drakeford. It's a purpose app. I'm just going to throw that out there, and that is going to be included in our life coaching group. And so you can go to the website. You can sign up for my emails because we are going to be running a big sale within the next week or so. But I just want you to be aware we are very excited about this cohort of this coaching group session. And it's limited space because I don't want a lot of people. I like intimate groups where people can be honest with each other and with themselves. I look forward to seeing some of you, hearing from some of you, being followed by some of you, and following some of you.
Yeah,
And let
perfect.
me, I would be remiss in being an apostle without letting the people know that the name of my church is the Garden Worship and Outreach Center in Eden, North Carolina. And we live stream on YouTube on the first and third Saturdays at 6 p.m. The Garden Worship and Outreach Center.
That's super awesome. Question for you.
Yes.
Mentor, and I believe that success is a team sport. I believe, as you said, I believe that one of my 12 rules for life is that collaboration crushes competition. That's what I just believe. So my
Yes.
question to you, you had so many mentors along this journey of life. If you could reach and think right now of one mentor that maybe passed along some words of wisdom to you that helped change the trajectory of your life, that you're now going to pass on to the audience. So here's the cool part. As the community, we all get the benefit from the words of wisdom of her mentor. And isn't that kind of cool? So do you mind sharing
Yes.
one of your mentors and a lesson that we can all learn?
You know what? I am fortunate to say that the person who was my spiritual mother was my birth mother. She was a woman who walked in such great wisdom. And I think the things that she taught us, even in growing up, were to, when you focus on a thing, do it well. Do it well. Don't quit. We were not allowed to say, I can't in the house. We laugh about that to this day, but there was absolutely nothing that we could approach and say, Mama, I can't do this. Never say never. But now I fully understand that she would follow it up with Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so, what I would say as a bit of wisdom, even moving forward, it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter where you find yourself in life. You could be young right out of college, or you could be 75, 80, just still full of life, thinking about what I need or want to do. And guess what? Don't you dare allow anybody to talk you out of your dreams. Don't allow anybody to talk you out of your purpose. But keep going, keep going. A prayer is key in my life, of course, but I want to tell the people, whether you are, whether you're a believer or whatever your walk is, just move forward in those things. Move forward in those things that are dear to you. Don't let money, don't let anything be your reason or your excuse for not moving forward.
Thank you so much for sharing that, by the way. Super cool. We have a segment here at the Happy Entrepreneur Show called Today is My January 1st. That's right. Today is my January 1st. And for those folks that are family that are here with us daily, Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can go ahead and say those words. I know you wait for that moment. Today is my January 1st. Happy New Year to you. And for those other individuals that are joining for the first time, we welcome you. We're glad that you're here. Today is my January 1st represents a do-over. Today is my January 1st represents a fresh start. It means that our past no longer equals our future, and that we don't have to wait till December 31st on the back of a napkin after 11:59 p.m. to say, here are our goals. It can happen now. We can step in the present moment. So today is your January 1st. My question to Mona Lisa is, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And what are your words to encourage and inspire folks that not only got to have a January 1st, but they got to keep it going and continue to take that action to get the results they want to live a purposeful life?
This is what I thought about when I thought I was sitting in the chair just a couple of days ago, actually, and I had gotten my Social Security statement. I know how old I am, how old I'm going to be, but there was something about my sitting down in my chair, holding that Social Security statement, and thinking about, wow, I'm really going to be 60 this year. But with that, I got excited because, as I said previously, I'm not one for regrets. So moving forward with even more vigor, with even more tenacity, with even more excitement, I am moving forward to do the things that I'm purposed to do, such as my heart loves coaching those people who are starting churches, providing information, serving as a mentor, a coach, a trainer, or that. So I'm stepping up that game. And yeah, I might have left some time behind, but I'm not worried about. I'm not concerned about what was left behind and what I might have missed out on. because today is all that's promised to me. And so I'm moving forward in that vein. So that's my January 1st. I've got a plan. I know what I'm going to be doing for the next 2 years at least. And so I got excited all over again about my next steps.
Today is my January 1st. Thank you so much for being here. We
Yes.
appreciate you being a part of the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We know that you can always make more money. On any given day, you can make more money, but you can never make more time. You've given us the
Yes.
most precious resource you have, which is your time. Take a moment again to answer two questions. Number one, what type of clients is your firm bringing on these days? And number two, how can folks best connect with you?
Good. I am amazed that people typically, mostly female clients, in maybe from their 40s, 50s, seek me out for counsel, for guidance. And so that's who seeks me out. Also, I have previously done a lot of work in training people how to become entrepreneurs. But this has been a shift right now in my life where I've been going more toward coaching, and that's what I'm finding is even a greater passion for me. And so again, as I said previously, you can reach me on website School of Thought LLC nc.com. And actually, you can email me at Mona Lisa at School of Thought LLC nc.com. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, you want to know about some of the products and services that are listed on our website. Feel free. There are some courses that I offer on ministry and nonprofit formation. There's something called Starting Now. There's an audio course and a downloadable book, which is just the basic steps of entrepreneurship, because I spend time doing that as well. So please check out my website, send me an email. Happy to answer questions. And I'm happy to get to know you and what your needs are.
We're happy to connect with you as well. Thank you again for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. And for those that are watching, thank you so much for being here. I want you to know, those that tune in and those that are here for the first time, that you're already amazing. You're already awesome. That today is your January 1st. And because of that reason, your best is still yet to come. Isn't that kind of cool? Your
Yes.
best is yet to come. Your best is still yet to come. With that being said, my name, by the way, in case you forgot, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Remember this, though. Time is long. Life, on the other hand, well, it's very, very short. So you got to live in that moment, and you got to make it count. God bless, and we wish you success. We out. Peace. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you so much. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Thank you.